why did you develop SMGi?
I developed it out of personal need. I had excruciating physical pain that nothing worked to help alleviate. And at the time, I had an infant daughter who I wasn't willing to abandon. The pain was so bad, I wanted to take myself out so many times, but there was no way I was going to leave her. So I just had to find a way. So that put me on a 5-year long dark night of the soul journey, where I just took one class and one course and studied with one healer after another for about 5 years. And at the end of that 5 years, I had pieced together what most helped me. And then I knew I had to share it with others. Hung up my shingle as a healer, even though it felt pretty uncomfortable. That felt pretty weird 23 years ago, especially in my hometown. Anything spooky do, off the radar, was frowned upon. So yeah, and then I just worked with clients over the years, and inspiration came through in my work with them and from them. And eventually I knew that this was repeatable and that anyone could do it. You didn't have to be special. You could just use these elements, and it would work for pretty much anyone.
So let's talk about SMGi. What is it and how does it work?
Hmm. What it is a gentle way to journey inwards into and through your subconscious, where all of your power and glory and beauty reside. Your trauma's there too, but SMGI has an intent to go in to help, not to relive or remember or re-experience. If that needs to happen for you to get the job done, then you will. But let me back up a little bit. You won't necessarily relive an experience, but you'll be able to witness it as the kind of person that maybe most of us never experienced in our life. So if you just imagine that you had a person in your life that loved you utterly, and no matter what, you could sob, you could cry, you could poop your pants, they would just hold you through it. Maybe they would cry with you, but they weren't crying also beside you. They were holding space for you and honoring, 100% honoring your suffering, your experience. And yet somehow knowing that you can get through this, having faith in you that you can get through this and you can survive it and you can flourish in spite of it or because of it, but very present with you in such a state of love.
Yeah.
In SMGI, we are that for our parts that experienced the atrocities that they experienced.
Yeah. It's awesome.
So there's a lot of unfinished, like open wounds in our psyche that don't take much to close, seal, and heal. The most powerful and efficient way to do that is inside yourself, in your inner world. Things in the outer world take a lot longer to heal than things in the inner world. And sooner you heal things in the inner world, the sooner they heal in the outer world.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you're journeying inwards, your own inner wisdom will offer you a narrative to move through that may or may not be actual or factual, and yet it will be the narrative through which you can heal those wounds that are remaining to be healed, those experiences that are remaining to be honored. All trauma is healable, whatever variety or flavor.
And that can be scary for someone that's been through trauma to try to access memories and the subconscious. So, what would you say to those individuals that are afraid to explore what's in their subconscious mind?
That's a natural fear. It's universal. And that it's not going away. Kind of like if you had a relative locked up in the attic that was rattling chains all the time, moaning, screaming, you just turn the TV up louder. It's still there in the background, creating stress in your system. So it's not about, putting your face in the poop. It's not about feel the fear and do it anyway. It can be done very gently and respectfully in a way where it's titrated according to your own inner wisdom. Most people come to this work because their pain is greater than their fear.
Mhm.
Certainly was the case for me. I didn't want to have anything to do with this kind of wackadoo stuff. But when my pain got greater than my fear, I would try the next, what I thought of at the time as was a weirdo.
Yeah.
So the only way you're really going to believe that you'll be able to come back, you won't be overwhelmed, you won't be reliving and be re-traumatized, is to experience it.
Mhm.
And so sometimes, people will come in for one session, just check it out, see how it feels. And at the end of that session, they always know if and how they want to continue.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So besides helping alleviate the effects of trauma that we've talked about quite a bit, what are other ways people can benefit from SMGI?
Mm. Well, though it is the best way that I know of to resolve trauma, that create conditions that are uncomfortable or unwanted, it's not really about the trauma. It's really about, what do you want to create? What kind of experience do you want to be having in your body, in your life, in your career, in your health, with your health? So it's really about helping people get what they want.
Mhm.
And it's incredible how people get what they ask for. Sometimes over the years, people have come in asking for certain things, and I'm like, I don't know if that's possible, but okay. And they've always just stunned me with the miracles that human beings can create. We are so powerful and so capable with the right conditions. These kind of secret things that nobody taught us, that are super simple, kind of hiding in plain sight.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything's possible, really. If anyone's listening and you are in a space where you want to heal and you want to experience SMGI, you can do that. Or Gina is coming up with a class and you can get certified as an SMGI practitioner. We're going to have all those links in the show notes if that's something that you're on your healing journey and you want to add that to your arsenal to help anyone, really. Um,
Mhm.
yeah. So, do
Yeah.
tell us all the goods. What are you up to? And where can we find you and all that stuff?
Mhm. Yeah. Well, every year I train another cohort of interested people. It's a 6-month training. It starts in the middle of March every year, goes through the middle of September. And then in November or so, every year we have a 5-day retreat. And so that pretty much fills my year. In the background, I'm working on writing that book about the 9 survival related responses that become trauma related reactions. Fight, flight, freeze are the popular ones that we've heard of,
Yes.
but avoid is probably the number one that we do. Avoid, submit, surrender. We've all done.
Mm, mm-hmm.
And then attach is a big one. It gets some mention. Annihilate, make it stop.
Yeah,
And repeat. Repeat is a magical one, because
that's a big
that
one.
genius inside of us will help us gravitate to relationships and situations that will reactivate the old stuff that wants our attention so it can be made complete. So, but I encourage your listeners, if they're intrigued at all, to go to the Somatic Mindful Guided Imagery website. And there you can look at, on the practitioners page, there are many practitioners to choose from if you want to experience SMGI as a journeyer, as a client. And if you're curious about the training, there's also information there about the 6-month intensive training. Melissa, what was your experience of the training?
It was funny because I had never even gone through a session
That's
before
right.
I got in the class. I just looked at the class and I was like, this is it. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm always like that, though. I'm always like, follow the breadcrumbs, follow my intuition. And so I was like, I was a newbie when I came into the class and never had experienced before. And as an adoptee, I was, with the hypnotherapy thing, I was a little bit, what is going to happen here? Um, but quickly became very comfortable with the work and experiencing the journeys and things. And I was just like, it just really it just put that nail in, the coffin. Like, I'm doing the right thing. I'm doing the right
Mm,
thing every class. And it was just so validating In every class I would get a validation of this is the right thing. This is the right thing.
Yeah.
And it's such an innovative. I'm surprised at how quickly and efficiently it works.
Mhm.
And like you said, 6 months down the road, I'm like, oh my gosh, I asked for this thing 6 months ago. And now I'm seeing it working over here when I didn't even ask for it to work over here. Um, it's just amazing how it works. And it just kind of all these little tentacles come out into all these different areas that you weren't even thinking it was going to benefit. Um, and I'm still benefiting from those things 9 months later. Uh, so yeah, it was truly transformational. And
I love that analogy, the nail in the coffin, because some things need to be buried.
yeah,
But the difference is there needs to be ritual, there needs to be honoring, there needs to be community.
yeah,
And this is often part of what people experience in their inner journeys is a community of caring figures that show up that help them honor and
yeah,
bury what needs to be buried. But rather than just kind of like carrying a corpse around with us,
right.
because we've never had that opportunity to be supported in completing a ritual where it can now be honored and it can now be released.
Yeah,
It also, when you were talking, it reminds me that as I was on my healing journey, the whole forgiveness thing, I was really annoyed by. But one thing I pleasantly found with SMGi is you just do these journeys and then forgiveness just happens.
yeah.
Because you can't just force forgiveness because you're not honoring all these things that need to be honored. But once you do, then it's
It
like,
just doesn't
of
matter.
course,
All
doesn't
the other stuff doesn't matter.
matter.
Truth.
Oftentimes it's like, awesome. I can really serve well and be at great peace because of
Yeah.
all of the intense challenges that I experience.
I think a lot of people don't like to forgive because they feel like if I do that, then I'm saying it's okay what you did to me.
Of
And that's
course.
not what it's about. It's
Yeah.
about releasing yourself
Yeah.
from that bond, that, you know, that
Oh, that
baggage.
so beautifully sums up SMGi, releasing yourself from bondage, setting
Yeah.
yourself free to create whatever you want to create.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Yeah.
So I will have all your links in the show notes. Thank you so much, Gina, for coming on the show today.
How can people find you, Melissa, if they want to have a session with you?
Oh, yes. Somatic mindful guided imagery. I have a website. It's in the show notes, somatichealingjourneys.com. So if you're interested or want to learn more about me and SMGi, you can go there and get in touch with me. And yeah, and I will have Gina's links in the show notes as well. Thanks so
Hmm.
much.
My pleasure. Thank you for the good work that you're doing in this world, Melissa, and for all that you have gone through that has brought you to where you are now.
Yes. So grateful. Thank you.